Call to order the Norwood City School District Board of Education regular board meeting for Thursday, December 15th, 2022. The Norwood City School District Board of Education follows a bi-monthly meeting schedule. First meeting of the month is called our committee meeting. At this meeting, we discuss fully our agenda for the board meeting to be held the third Thursday of each month. As board members, we encourage everyone to attend, watch, and listen to our committee discussions, which results in action at these board meetings. For full disclosure, all of our committee meetings and board meetings are always announced, audio and videotaped, as well as posted to our webpage for your review. All of our meetings are public and visitors are always welcome. Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood.
Present.
Mrs. Cole.
Present.
Ms. Ballard.
Present.
Mrs. Rarica.
Present.
Mr. Taylor.
Present.
All right, I would like to ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have a couple of housekeeping items. The first housekeeping item is the adoption of tonight's agenda. I would like to make a motion to adopt tonight's agenda as presented to us.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
Ms. Ballard. Yes. Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
All right, the next item for housekeeping that we have is sections 1.05, which is the minutes for the regular meeting held November 16th, 2022. 1.06, the minutes for the Finance Committee meeting held December 6th, 2022. And 1.07, the minutes for the committee meeting also held on December 6th, 2022. I'd like to make a motion that we approve those minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
Ms. Ballard. Yes. Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
With that approved, we'll move on to section 2 on our agenda, which is presentation. And I'd like to turn the floor over to Mrs. Christina Chesson.
Thank you so much, President Atwood. We are so pleased tonight to present to you our rising stars for the month of December. It is our favorite time during the whole board meeting, and when I call your name, I would ask that you come forward and stand up here to be recognized properly. And once all the students have gathered, we're going to take lots of pictures, and our board members would also like to congratulate you. So we will start with Sharpsburg Primary and Elementary School. Sharpsburg Elementary and Primary School's rising star student for the month of December is Zena Kassam. Just stand right up there, or go over there to Mrs. Ballard. She's going to hand you a certificate. Zena Kassam is an absolute pleasure to have in class. She is always smiling and willing to go the extra mile. Zena is a strong, quiet leader among her peers. She is kind and works extremely well with all students. She makes wise choices no matter the situation around her. She values education and works hard to achieve her own goals as well as the goals of her parents have set for her. I'm so proud of her leadership, her good heart, and her hard work. Whether she's in the hallway, in the classroom, or in the cafeteria, or even on the playground, she is always a PACS leader. Congratulations, Zena. Norwood View Elementary School's Rising Star student for December is Aliyah Winkler. Stay right here. Our third grade Rising Star is Aliyah Winkler. Aliyah comes to school every day with a willingness to try her best and learn. She has a great attitude that is contagious to those around her. She establishes herself as a role model for her peers. She goes out of her way to demonstrate positivity in the classroom environment. On several occasions, she has assisted her classmates in any way she can, whether she's helping them with work or carrying things for him. One specific example comes to mind when Aliyah showed honesty and responsibility when returning lost and unclaimed PACS bucks to her teachers. These qualities are the reason so many students look up to Aliyah and consider her a great friend. We are truly grateful to have Aliyah in our third grade class this year. Congratulations, Aliyah. Williams Avenue Elementary School's Rising Star student for December is Carly Stevens. It looks like Carly isn't here at this time. We'll recognize her at a future meeting, but for now, let's all hear the good things about Carly. She is a ray of sunshine everywhere she goes. Carly joined our Wildcat family last year. Since then, she has worked so incredibly hard on everything she does. Carly has made tremendous growth in both reading and math. Carly has made this growth because of her amazing work ethic. Carly shows such a passion for learning and school. Carly is adored by everyone she meets because of her resiliency and her big heart and mission to be kind to everyone. We are so proud of Carly every day. Congratulations, Carly. The Norwood Montessori School's Rising Star student for December is Althea Sapp. The Norwood Montessori School is so proud to share that Althea Sapp is our December Rising Star. Althea is an outstanding kindergartner who exemplifies our core Montessori beliefs of taking care of ourselves, all living things, and the environment. Upon entering our classroom on any given day, you would see Althea writing stories, making books to show her learning, combining numbers into thousands, or helping other students understand their work. Althea works diligently each day to show others that they are cared for and loved in our Montessori classroom. Learning and growing with Althea has been a true joy, and we love having her as a part of our Montessori family. Congratulations, Althea. Norwood Middle School Rising Star student is Makinzie Crooks. Makinzie Crooks is a shining example of Norwood pride each and every day. Makinzie is an excellent student who works carefully and consistently, striving for academic excellence. Makinzie is also a great motivator and example to her peers. She encourages others to think outside the box and freely shares her own personal challenges to inspire others. Makinzie is a strong leader in orchestra and a wonderful asset to Norwood. All her teachers appreciate her work ethic and incredible attitude in their classes. They know that she will be successful in her future endeavors and enjoy her smile each day. Congratulations, Makinzie. We will be sure to recognize Makinzie as well at a future board meeting. Our next Rising Star, Norwood High School Rising Star for the month of December is Austin Partin. Norwood High School is proud to recognize junior Austin Partin as our December Rising Star. Austin is a three-sport athlete participating in football, basketball, and track. His favorite classes at Norwood High School are his science classes because he intends to pursue a career in nursing or sports medicine after graduation. Currently, Austin is taking 2 challenging science classes. He has a great work ethic and makes good choices for his future. Austin serves as a leader for other students. He has a fun sense of humor and has a positive outlook. He loves Norwood High School and its sense of community and coming together as one. Austin is a true example of Norwood pride. Our athletic Rising Star student this month is Bowen Garibay. Our Rising Star this month is boys basketball team member Bowen Garibay. Through the first 6 matches, Bowen... Bowling. Oh, yes. Thank you. Through the first 6 matches, see, we have to do it all together. Bowen is averaging 201.1 pins per match, which is currently good for 3rd in the Miami Valley Conference. His high game was 254 pins versus Cincinnati Christian. Currently, Norwood is 1st in the conference, averaging 870.5 pins per match, and Bowen is a key contributor. Congratulations, Bowen. Okay, at this time, the board members are going to come around in front and shake all your hands, and we're going to grab an awesome picture with Miss Havlin. Okay, everyone smile with Havlin. There you go.
There, we ready? 1, 2, 3. We'll do it one more time. Can you flip your... There you go. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
All right,
Thanks,
congratulations.
Okay, so at this time, all of our rising stars and all of their supporters that came this evening, could you go to the lobby, and Miss Havlin is going to take some family and very important people pictures with you out there. Thank you so much.
Trees.
I'm gonna miss this chair one time. No arms, I'm just...
It was warm a little bit ago. But before the meeting. Yeah.
I don't feel it as much. Like, to me, it's just, oh, this is nice.
All right, are we ready to continue? Because I know there's a silhouette concert.
Yes.
There is.
Yes. So we will move on to section 3 in our agenda. This is superintendent personnel recommendations, and I would like to turn the floor over to Superintendent Ronan.
Thank you, President Atwood. Number 3.01, resignations or leave of absence. I do want to thank Aaron. He will be missed. He's done a great job while he was with us. And then also Morgan is going out on a leave of absence, temporary, hopefully, and I wanted to thank her for all her work with the PTA, but hopefully she will be returning. Then, under 3.02, employment. Number 1, we have a new job description. We really just updated the old one to fit our current needs, so that's what number 1 is. Number 2, employment. Well, we want to welcome Sonia Moyers as an assistant at the high school, so welcome, Sonia. Number 3 is a change in status, and we have Ava Howard moving to a student assistant from educational aid. And we have Olivia Mogg moving from educational aid to student data support secretary. And I think Olivia is in the audience today. Therese Booth had asked that she get to introduce her since she will be working in her office. But apparently Therese has gone out to get her picture taken with the kindergartners. So she is not here to do that, so I'll have to do it. Welcome, Olivia.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. Number 4. Under supplementals, these are supplementals for the great music programs at our elementary schools, and thank you to all the teachers who work to put on a great production. And number 5, avenues for success. I want to thank Becky Baker. She's going to be subbing because it's always great to have help in our after-school programming. And with that, thank you. That concludes my personnel report.
Thank you, Superintendent Ronan. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the superintendent recommendations as presented to us.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I will be abstaining from this vote. Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood,
Abstain?
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
With those approved, we'll move on to section 4 in our agenda, and that's the Education Committee report. And I'd like to turn the floor over to Board Member Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Mr. President. First item is 4.01, our student field trips. We have 2 listed for Sharpsburg to the Art Museum and the Cincinnati Nature Center. We have 1 for the Montessori school, also to the Nature Center, and 2 for the high school. We have 10th grade going to do their Scarlet Oaks tour, and we also have the high school 11th graders doing the West Point Leadership and Ethics Seminar, or an ethics seminar, excuse me. Then under 4.02, we have the updated district calendar for the 23-24 school year. Already talking about that one. And 4.03 is the MOU for our Education Service Center working with our Head Start program, and that is just a continuation of services that we already have established. I would like to make a motion that we accept 4.01 through 4.03 as presented.
Oh, second. Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard? Yes. Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
All right. With those approved, we'll move on to section 5 in our agenda. This is the Policy Committee report, and I'd like to turn the floor over to Vice President Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I think we're going to break this up tonight. We do have a first reading of a policy, and then tonight would be the second reading of the policies that we've been discussing for the past 2 months. So the first reading tonight is covering interdistrict, open enrollment. Did we want, you said we need to approve it and then we can discuss it.
Yeah, so I would like to make a motion that we have the first reading for the interdistrict open enrollment, JECBB.
I'll second.
Any discussion? So I know, Ms. Ballard, since you were not able to be present during the committee meeting when we had a lot of questions and discussions.
Right.
So,
I know that I have been updated on quite a bit of it. I know that you guys have kind of the order of operations picked out for, which is first, which is second, that kind of thing. I'm totally on board with all of it. The only question that I have is, so I understand that we have students that if they are enrolled, they have third priority. I think they're third on the list. I want to see if there's a way, if you're an existing student already here, I feel like that should give almost equal weight. If you're already in our program, we should keep you here, especially if you're an existing student in Norwood and then leave the district. I understand that we want to keep it a priority for our teachers and staff members to also have kind of a top priority, but I would really love to put it on par with that. If you're already a student here, I don't want to remove that level of consideration from a student who's already in our programming.
I'm in agreement with that.
I doubt that we would even end up in a situation where we would have to remove a student. I just want to make sure that we can understand that there might be flexible leeway with the needs of a student. The other would be placement in the building. I understand that, we grant students here, if you've got one kiddo at an elementary school and you want to stay at that elementary school, if you move across town, we allow that type of stipulation to happen. I realize if you're coming in from open enrollment, you may not be able to be placed in the building of your choice, but let's say you have an existing family member already in that building. So maybe you come and drop off your kiddos at the cousin's house and everybody gets dropped off at View. Well, maybe we could give priority if there is a family member already established in that building, rather than, choice, but.
No, that's an excellent idea. We do try to keep families together. It's
Right.
very rare we would ever try to separate them.
I just know it's not outlined there, but I understand the need to say, okay, well, this third grade classroom has space, and maybe this third grade classroom doesn't have space, but you've got kiddos that are all related in this building, so maybe we could make an exception in that case.
We just wanted to put in there, we can't guarantee you your choice of building. It was really to
Right.
protect the district and due to overcrowding. But yes, we would give those families priority. Now, that is something we can put in our procedure.
Okay.
But not actually in the policy, because we just put, it's a bare bones policy. What's in there is required by Ohio Revised Code. The only thing we added was the order of priority. But can we go back to what you said initially? I want to be clear. On here, it's B, current former Norwood City students who've moved out was listed as a B, or number 2 on the list, and you'd like to combine that with the third one, or C, open enrollment students who completed the previous school year. You'd like those two combined, like as the second
'Cause if you're-
priority?
If you're an existing student, if we've already accepted you as a student, to me, you are a student here. And you are just as prioritized as any other student and resident because you have chosen to come here. You are a Norwood student. And I would hate for you to have the risk of removing just because the next class level might be fuller than the previous. Like I said, I don't think that that's a
No, I don't see
situation
any
we will
problem
have
with,
to have.
you just want to combine those two.
I would
I
like to
just want to be
combine
clear. Okay.
that standard for students. If you're an existing student, regardless if you're a transfer student or a student that lives here,
Okay.
you have priority in your classroom.
And you're right, because really the former Norwood students, that's probably really only applies to this year, where we're going to reach out and invite them back. So you're right. I see no harm in combining those two.
Okay.
Right, in other years, that second one will just be not an adding.
Right.
It would
Right.
just be a
Mhm.
keeping level.
Exactly.
I brought that one up last time too. It's like, what if somebody got pushed out?
Yeah, I don't
don't
think
think
we'll
it'll
end up
happen,
needing to
but-
push out any student. I wouldn't want to turn away any kid that wants to come here. I really wouldn't. I think we've got the space and the heart to handle them all.
I agree. I think that's an excellent change.
All
And I
right.
think everything else that I read through, I'm fine with and understood the changes that you guys made. So.
Okay. Any other items for discussion?
I did have a question that I should have asked last week and I forgot, so I apologize. But I know that this has the potential to be worrisome to some folks, but could we just talk about what happens if we don't do this, or what could potentially happen if the board were to not go down this path?
Certainly, I can probably best answer that by recalling what the committee talked about. We had that 17-member committee, and I think everyone was shocked at how fast the enrollment decline has occurred. And they started to look and realize, like, Williams is down to 215 students. So I think, and everyone realized these buildings had twice as many students recently. And for the first time this year, the committee talked about how we had to share art, music, and PE teachers. They had to travel to 2 buildings because there weren't enough children in one building to really warrant full-time. And the committee started to worry that we have so many wonderful programs here in Norwood. We have Gifted, we have STEM, we have elementary counselors, we have social workers, and all these extras, everyone wanted to make sure we could keep. And they were so worried that if the enrollment decline continues, those programs could be in jeopardy. And I think teachers are pretty pragmatic, and they looked at that and said, gosh, we have all these extras we could market to the community right now, which could really help with open enrollment. But if we wait until maybe we have to start to cut, then you're not as marketable. And they never wanted to have to cut out anything that we currently offer. So that's really what the committee was concerned about, because I think all of us were looking a few years down the road. If we continue like this, at some point in time, we might have to make some difficult decisions that no one ever wanted to make. So that's really what drove the committee to say, let's keep the great programs we have and let's market Norwood as a destination.
Do we want to add that at state level, they might make us do it, and at that point, we wouldn't have choices, and now we do have choices, and we can make this what we want.
That is very true. All right. Vice President Cole, do you have any other questions?
I don't.
You don't. Mr. Taylor, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good.
No? Are you good? All right. Any other questions, Ms. Ballard? All right. So we're going to have the first reading for this policy change. The second reading will happen at our next regular board meeting, which is, I think, scheduled to be held on the 19th of January. So if it passes both readings, then that's when this change would go into effect. So
I guess I lied, I do have a question. This would be into effect for next school year or spring semester?
immediately,
Okay,
as soon as it goes into effect in January.
okay,
So, and it's done for that purpose, to try and keep those families who find themselves in a position of having to move this year.
got it. Perfect. I wanted to make sure, because I know we
Yeah.
had that issue pop up this year. and I
Yeah, we
wanted
didn't
see
want to
how
lose
fast.
another 50 students this spring if we wait till next year.
I thought there was a date of like February something.
Well,
Like a
Well,
February.
February 1 is when we start the enrollment.
Okay, okay, okay.
Right,
would I
so,
be able to motion or sub-motion that we have the first and second reading so that we can adopt it in January?
so you, well, I mean, if we have both readings tonight, then the policy, like, we would, let me back up. So what your sub-motion would have to be is you would have to make a motion to suspend our rules to have both readings tonight.
I thought the first reading was at the last
No,
meeting.
no, this is the first reading.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you would have to make a motion, make a sub-motion to suspend the rules to have both readings tonight. And then we would vote on that motion to suspend the rules. Okay? And then there would be another motion to then have both readings.
Then let's do that, because I
So-
would like to make this happen as soon as possible for those families.
Okay, so you're making a sub-motion to suspend the rules so we can have both readings tonight.
Correct.
Do I have a second for that sub-motion?
I'll second it. And now should we discuss?
Yeah, now we have to discuss the sub-motion. So we're talking about suspending the rules and having both readings, so that way we could put the policy in effect immediately following this meeting. I'm not sure that personally I'm on board with this. I want this to happen, but I also want to give the folks at home or who don't normally follow these meetings an opportunity to be able to comment on something as life-changing and altering for our district as this.
I just know a lot of families tend to choose to make that move around the holiday break. I want to make sure they're aware, if we don't suspend it, I'm okay with that, that they are aware that this will be in effect come January.
Right, I agree with that
So,
completely.
does that mean that if they're moving right now over holiday break, that they suddenly have to not have a place for their child to go in January because this isn't in effect yet? That's what I'm worried about. So I want to make sure there is some type of stipulation and protection to families who choose to move during the holidays, to not have to uproot their child for 3 weeks while we wait for the next meeting so that we can then approve it. So would this be able, can we add a retroactive thing for a family that might choose to move during the holidays, that we can honor that?
Yes, if the board would give us permission that if they move the first week in January, we would simply say, why don't you wait 2 more weeks because the board may approve open enrollment and you can stay. And we just wouldn't rush to withdraw them right away, especially since it's only like 2-3 weeks, less than 3 weeks.
I just wanted to make sure that legally
I
we were
agree.
not going to be in some type of position to have to remove a student and then have to re-enroll a student simply because of, a 3-week
We will
break.
just slow down on the withdrawals and have them start filling out the paperwork in anticipation of. So your point's well taken. I don't want to put anyone out for 2 weeks and then try to bring them back.
Red tape
That would
can
be
so much
silly.
fun. So I wanted to make sure we were covered in that
Thank you.
aspect.
No, that's an excellent point. Thank you very
So I will
much.
withdraw the sub-motion then, as long as that stipulation can stand, that we can slow down that process for families that might be moving over the holidays.
And Kimberly's here, so she will make sure that we do not withdraw them, so that'll be excellent.
Kimberly?
Or at least give them a heads up that, okay.
Alice, do you withdraw your second?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was, yeah. So
Okay.
we could discuss and tell Amber that Mary has a solution for that.
That's what I needed to know. So as long as that's covered, the gap is
Yes.
covered. then I'm
We
good.
all agree, it's a good concern. Mary's got it covered.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? All right, so this is the first reading for this policy change. Mrs. Camp House, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
All right, with that passed, I'll turn it back over to Vice President Cole.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President, again. So tonight we have the second reading of the policies that we've been discussing. So BDDG, we're just adding regularly scheduled to this for the minutes. EBC, Emergency Management Safety Plans and Threat Assessment Model. So this is complying with House Bill 123. GBCB, staff conduct, added some legal references. IGDK has to do with interscholastic extracurricular activities, so adopting the same minimum requirements as the OSHAA, not OSHA, OHSAA. KMA, relations with student organizations. So this, as Mrs. Chesson has articulated, it kind of combines two policies, the best pieces of both policies that have to do with our PTAs, PTOs, as well as the athletic boosters, and just combines them into one. So with that done, we can withdraw KMB, which has to do with the booster organization. And then we also have KMA-R, which is the regulation that goes with the new policy, KMA. So with that, I would like to motion that we approve the second reading of those policies.
I will second. Any discussion with these? Nope, so this is the second reading, and as soon as we have this vote, these policy changes go into effect. Mrs. Camp House, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
All right.
President Atwood, before we go on,
Yeah.
I was just told our Williams Rising Star just arrived. And would you mind if we read and had her come down?
Absolutely.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
100%, please.
We don't need to do the Robert's rules, right? We can just
Yeah,
accept this?
yeah. we're-
Okay.
Thank you, because I'm expecting Brandon to be like, okay.
Williams Avenue Rising Star, when I call your name, will you come forward so you can be recognized? The Rising Star for December is Carly Stevens. We are so happy to have you here, Carly. Just come right up here and, let's see. I'm going to find your certificate. Shake your hand. Congratulations. Will you stand up here while I say nice things about you? Okay. All right. Carly is a ray of sunshine everywhere she goes. Carly joined our Wildcat family last year. Since then, she has worked so incredibly hard at everything she does. Carly has made tremendous growth in both reading and math. Carly has a passion for learning and school. Carly is adored by everyone she meets because of her resiliency, her big heart, and her mission to be kind to everyone. We are so proud of Carly every day. Congratulations, Carly. Just have one. Can you take a picture of Carly? All right, so I'm gonna have you step over here.
You want us down there?
I was like, we can,
Yeah,
we
let's go.
can go.
There you go. We'll do it all.
This is a big deal.
Yeah.
I like how she has her big heart on her shirt, literally.
Carly, will you step up here? With us and sit
There
there?
you go.
There we go.
All right, nice.
There we go. We'll do a casual shot. Give us a big cheese.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. This is really good.
Keep up the good work.
that was sweet.
We always have time for that.
We're always too formal.
She's got flowers.
Oh, she's got flowers. Aw.
All right, section 6 on our agenda is the Building and Grounds Committee report. We don't have anything,
I was gonna say that, we don't have anything,
so we will jump straight to.
so at least I got to say that.
Right. Section 7, which is the Finance Committee report, and I would like to turn the floor over to District Treasurer, Mrs. Camphouse.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 178 failed to pass the House on our current lame duck session. This bill proposed dismantling the Ohio Department of Education and severely limiting the State Board of Education's authority. This bill would have created a new Department of Education and Workforce Development directly under the care of the Governor of Ohio.
So that failed in the House?
Failed in the House.
I thought it failed in the Senate.
No,
Oh, no, it passed in the
Senate.
Senate 22-7.
Yeah.
That's
It
right.
was
Right,
proposed
I
by
think
the
that's
Senate.
what I saw when I was
Failed in
here.
the House.
Though the bill failed in lame duck, we do expect to see it again attached to the budget bill,
Yeah,
which is even more dangerous.
because they have to pass the budget bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. However, House Bill 123 did pass both the Senate and the House and is awaiting the governor's signature. These provisions modify the 25-year law governing CRAs, which are community reinvestment areas, by raising the threshold requiring school board approval from 50% to 75% for property tax exemption. It also repealed some annual reporting requirements. So now a new business and a district can have 75% of their real estate taxes forgiven without school board approval for up to 30 years. Financial reports are attached on the agenda for your approval, as well as the change order listings. 7.02 is appropriation resolutions, which is our current year budget. 7.03 are donations, and I did add a few last minute. $1,361 from Kroger's to Avenues for Success, $2,000 from the Cassim Foundation to Ready Schools for Holiday Assistance, $500 from Norwood Masonic Lodge to Ready Schools for Holiday Assistance, and $1,000 from the Norwood Firefighters Association to Ready Schools for Holiday Assistance. We truly appreciate those donations. 7.04 Klingers Survey to survey the Shea Stadium parcel in anticipation of the renovation and upgrades to that building and outside areas. And finally, 7.05, a van purchase via the consortium. Southwestern Ohio Educational Purchasing Consortium bid out buses and vans for public school purchase. This resolution in order form allow the district to start the process to buy a handicap accessible van for the district to use for work study and job opportunity student needs. The van will also be used for smaller athletic team transportation if it's available. This still, however, does not guarantee that we can buy this van. It's still very difficult to buy cars right now. So we will be on a waiting list to purchase. I will keep the board updated as we go along through this process. That is all I have for finance.
Thank you, Mrs. Camphouse. I would like to make a motion that we approve the finance items 7.01 through 7.05 as presented to us.
A second.
Any discussion on those items? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
All right, next item in our agenda is the hearing of the public. I've not had anybody fill out the form to come and speak to us tonight. So with that, we'll move on to item or section 9 in our agenda, and those are the report section. So 9.01 is the board announcements. Does anybody have anything that they would like to share?
I helped at the Williams School Mary Market today, and it was adorable. And I thought it was such a good lesson for the kids in managing money, managing people that they had to buy for. It was such a great skill set that they have to do. You should have seen these kids going about their business of doing it. And then having me wrap it, and then that was this whole organization thing, and it was really neat.
Nice.
And having Santa Claus come visit some of our students this week was really cool too.
I do have one announcement I would like to share with the group. So tonight will be my last meeting as board president. And so I want to thank the board for allowing me the opportunity to serve as board president for the last 2 years. So,
Okay.
any other announcements?
Are we supposed to know what's happening next?
Well, like every year, there's a president pro tem.
Oh, right. I
And-
thought this was some shocking announcement.
No, I'm just thanking the board for allowing me to do this.
Right, it's December. Okay.
It's
What if we
December.
put you back in for next year?
What is
Then all of that was
Yeah,
for naught.
All
yeah.
right. I'm back to normal.
Are you-
It's fine.
All right, it is December.
Everybody went into a
December.
panic there.
I know, I'm like,
We appreciate your leadership.
All right, any other board announcements? All right, we'll move on to 9.0.
the orchestra played for us tonight. That was really cool.
That's true. When we got here, the lobby was filled with music, and they were doing such a good job. It was really cool to come into the sound of the strings echoing in the main lobby, which we also have beautiful new furniture in. It looks gorgeous. I shared the picture that you guys posted. It looks so good to have the lounge back, because that was what I had back in the day, and it's really cool to have that seating area out front. Kids can come and do homework or just talk with their friends, and it's just such a cool, inviting space. I love it.
And after this, we'll have the silhouettes. And we have the silhouettes and the orchestra come play for Women's Club. So our school people go out into the community and go play for.
And the Sensations were also
Yes, and the
playing this
Sensations were
week
there
too.
too.
And thank you to those who made the decorations for the auditorium. Those looked really beautiful. They made like handmade snowflakes and hung them around the stage. It looked really cool. So, yeah, lots of fun stuff.
Well, we'll move on to 9.02, Superintendent's Report, Superintendent Ronan.
Well, my report is very festive, as you can see. Julie and I attended the Norwood Alumni Holiday Luncheon, and as you can see, a lot of the folks there were decked out in their holiday best. There's Julie, and she's sitting next to Patty Rayburn. I think she was a longtime employee here. And the nicest part was, as Alice just mentioned, the Silhouettes came and performed. They did a lovely job. I think the alumni were very impressed that we continued the great tradition of the music program here in the schools. So all in all, it was just a very, very lovely event. And of course, it would not be complete without Frank Doggett, class of 1947. He attended again this year, and there he is waving to everyone.
And
So
he
just
gave
a
me
lovely
lunch
gentleman.
recently.
So thank you, and that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Superintendent Ronan. We'll move on to 9.03, the Great Oaks Report. I'd like to turn the floor over to Board Member Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Mr. President. This month has been very busy. It got kicked off with our Vision Career Tech Conference, which is our national conference. It was out in Vegas, November 30th through December 3rd. We got to see presenters from all across the country bringing in tech ideas. I even got to see a deaf doctor present from RIT, which was on such a great program about making your classroom more accessible to all of your students. Absolutely loved it. It was a great workshop. The Great Oaks also had 2 teachers that were able to present at this workshop on our satellites, which the satellite programs are those where you might have a class that's in your own building. We do a lot of business classes, tech classes, and STEM classes that are on campus rather than going out to one of our 4 main buildings. We have our spotlight student, Tyler Moore. He was in our auto refinishing classes, and he got his first placement at Blue Ash Auto Body, so congratulations to Tyler for that excellent placement. We have, let's see here, we have some new information. I'm going to pass it off to Julie, but I told her she couldn't have it until I was done. The Career Awareness and Exploration Funding Guide. So this is actually a way for us to get back some of the funding that we invest in our students that go to Oaks and STEM-like programs. We can apply for it, and it works kind of like a grant. We get an amount per student that comes back for us to invest in those programs that might put kids on pathways. We can use this for our STEM programming as early as elementary schools. We can use it for our kiddos who are in job placement or like on-site job training. And we can use it to buy materials for them or support them for transportation, whatever way we might need to fund something, a field trip, an interview, tools for their pathway, uniforms, anything like that. We can use those fundings to support them. So I will give this to Julie so that we can apply for it. It's free money that's at our disposal if we can apply for it. So I'm gonna give that to her. And it's, the numbers that they gave us average out to just under $5,000 that we could come back and use for our students. So I just thought that was a really cool thing to find out about. We mentioned earlier that we've got our college visit day coming up in January for our sophomore students. If you are unable to attend, we also have a virtual meeting for parents on January 19th. It'll be on YouTube Live from 7 to 8 p.m. And we also have an in-person open house on January 26th from 5:30 to 7:30. So if you can't attend the day of with the field trip, or you have parents that might want to learn some more, they are welcome to attend either of those. And I'd like to give you guys the information to share on our website too for parents who might want to plan for those events. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mallard. Next on our agenda is 9.04. This is the Norwood Community Television Board Report. I'd like to turn the floor over to Vice President Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. So on Monday, the Monday Club finished shooting their first film, and they are editing that right now. And then the Tuesday Club, I think we discussed last month, the Tuesday Club was in danger of maybe having to fold because they didn't have enough people, but they did pick up some new students, so that's great. So the Tuesday Club is thriving, and they are working on their first film, which Tyler says involves stop motion animated toys. And yeah, I was like, stop motion, I've never heard of that, so I just looked it up, and stop motion is an animated filmmaking technique in which objects are physically manipulated in small increments and photographed so that they appear to exhibit independent motion. And then there's actually a cost on here. It says like talks about how much it costs to have this done. So I mean, that just emphasizes how cool this is that our students have this kind of access to these clubs, and I know that Tyler and NCT, they do a great job with these students. So that is the NCT update.
All right. Thank you, Vice President Cole. Next is the 9.05, the OSBA Legislative Liaison Report, and I would like to turn it back over to Board Member Ms. Mallard.
Well, my information was kind of the same. It was on the House bill that she talked about. That was kind of the big thing. A lot of it with lame duck, we're in the middle of a waiting game right now. But yeah, I just had the same information about 178. So that was the kind of busiest thing we had. I did forget to mention though, for my report, I was told last night by our new President Pro Tem that they are going to appoint me chair of a committee officially starting in January.
Oh,
so we will get that approved, and they're moving me up the food chain a little bit, and I'll get to chair my own committee.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did they give a vote in the House for that bill?
I don't have the vote for the House. I only had the Senate vote because they were more concerned about the passage part of it.
Right.
They did say that it didn't make it past, so they were like, it passed at 22 to 7.
Right.
And that it was mentioned that there was bipartisan effort to kill it. So that was kind of the count. I don't have the official count though in the House.
Okay.
So.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Ballard.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, our last report is the 9.06 Avenues for Success report, and I'll turn it over to Board Member Mrs. Rarica.
Yes, Avenues for Success going along. It's the middle of the year, so they'll reconvene in January. Some kids have tomorrow, but lots of fun things still, and same as ever.
Fantastic. All right. Well, then that concludes all of the reports that I have. We'll move on to section 10 on our agenda, which is future meeting notification. And so it looks like January, which as every January, we have a number of meetings that's got to be held at that first meeting. I do want to make a change So instead of the Records Commission meeting being at 6 PM, it's typically at 5:45. We typically hold that meeting just 15 minutes earlier to keep all the rest of the meetings kind of like in line. So it's going to be the Records Commission meeting at 5:45 on January 10th, and then following that will be the commission meeting, then the tax budget hearing, then the organizational meeting, and then the regular committee meeting. So I would like to make a motion that we approve the future meetings.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Are those dates good? So the committee meeting on the 10th and then the regular board meeting to be held on the 19th. So the only thing that I have is that the week of the 19th, so the 16th through the 19th, I'll be at the World of Concrete. So my flight is landing on the 19th at like 3:45.
Oh.
So I'll be coming straight
Their
from.
time or our time?
No. I'll be landing here
Oh.
at 3:45 at CBG.
Okay.
So I'll be coming straight from the airport, so I may or
Drive safely.
may not be here right on time on the 19th, so I'm just kind of giving everybody a little bit of heads up.
We still value your participation, even if you're late.
Thank you.
I'm supposed to be on jury duty on the 10th, so I'm hoping I'll be out by the, in order to get here on time. But I'm supposed to start jury duty on the 9th. But that's always, you know.
Hopefully it will not come to
Depends on the board
fruition.
year process. I have no clue. So I will leave it in the air, but they should be done by 5 o'clock.
All right.
So I hope.
So we have a motion and a second, correct?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. All right. Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
All right, with that approved, we'll move on to the next item in our agenda. So this is number 11. This is the appointment of a president pro tem for the organizational meeting to be held on January 10th. I would like to nominate Mr. Mike Taylor as president pro tem. Does it need a second? Anybody else nominating?
I'll nominate Amber Ballard.
Okay.
Been here 2 terms.
Mrs. Camphouse?
Okay, so when I call your name, you're going to tell me the name of the person you want to be president pro temp of our January organizational meeting. Mr. Atwood?
Mr. Taylor?
Mrs. Cole?
Mr. Taylor?
Miss Ballard?
Myself?
Mrs. Rarica?
Ms. Ballard.
Mr. Taylor?
Myself.
Okay.
All right, with that, we have Mr. Taylor, who is going to be president pro tem for the organizational meeting held on January 10th, which brings us to our last item on the agenda, and this is adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a safe and happy holiday.